So now we are excited to introduce our next guest, who is joining us live in the studio. She is a 13-time national elevator pitch champion, featured on Shark Tank, CNN, Wall Street Journal, Forbes magazine, Black Enterprise magazine, Essence magazine, and more. She's a dynamic speaker, effective trainer, and 3-time #1 best-selling author. Without any further ado, welcome a queen, my talented friend and inspiration, Precious Williams.
Oh my goodness, how are you, Queen? Hey, so excited to be here, so excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you here.
Yes, yes, yes. So good day, everyone. I am Precious Williams, proud founder and CEO of Perfect Pitches by Precious. And you know what? Since we've been here and been listening to authenticity, and we've been listening to being bold and actually walking in your own power, I want to talk about owning the good, the bad, and the ugly of you, because it all matters, right? And so we talk about authenticity, and we love authenticity when it's just thrown out there, until someone walks in as bold and as colorful and as loud as others. We're like, well, wait, we don't need that much. We don't need that much. And then we talk about, hey, we live in a society that seems to value smaller bodies over larger ones. And as a full-figure diva and a plus-size fashionista, and yes, I did say that on Shark Tank Season 8 in 2016, I wanted to walk into the space and into that place and into that. I wanted to walk into the tank and show them what real confidence looks like. As a woman who's been forever told that I wasn't quite good enough, not quite tall enough, not quite pretty enough, what did I have to do? I developed my personality, and I developed a voice. And I wanted to speak for the voiceless and underserved. And so when I was in high school, I didn't know I was setting myself up for this kind of position that I'm in today. Now, being the killer pitch master, yes, I create the most killer elevator pitches, media pitches, investor pitches, speaker pitches, sales pitches, and interview pitches. And I truly help women give birth to their next beautiful now. But for a lot of women, they don't know what that actually looks like. They know what's on television. They know what's on social media. They know that everybody's living their best life. They know people on vacation, they're buying all of these things. But what if that's not your story? What if you're still in transition? What if you're still trying to figure out what's really going on? And so people can tell you to be confident, but what does that actually mean? So let me give you some examples. When I was growing up, and I know that I spoke last year, but when I was growing up, I was tall, thin. I know it's hard to believe. I know it's hard to believe now because I'm full-figure diva. But I was always told that I would never compare to my light-skinned, green-eyed sister. And so that stuck in my mind that I would never have friends, I would never have a boyfriend, I would never get married. And so what could I do? Well, I started really being interested in other people. I started wanting to hear their stories, because far too often most people's stories aren't told. And by listening and by being very interested in what they were saying, I grew to have great friends who are still with me to this day. And what that also did was build up my confidence to walk into any room and make friends, not on beauty, not on the facade, but on that genuine interest. So when I walk into spaces and I am loud and I am colorful and I am bold and I am bright, but that's how I am all the time. And so I've understood that there are certain spaces I don't even need to be in. And for some of you may not know, I'm a former attorney. Yes, in the great state of New York. Former attorney. And I'm proud to say former attorney. Because as an attorney, I was bored. I didn't want to have the same cases all day and all night. I didn't want to do the same things over and over again. You know what? I like variety, and I've heard that variety is the spice of life. And so when you walk into a court wearing hot pink and hot purple suits, it doesn't make any sense. People don't even know how to take you. But because I was a great attorney, I won most of my cases. I knew case law. I knew how to argue. I knew how to find the nuances. I knew that. But I also wanted to be counted. And so I would be as flamboyant as possible because I wanted to stand out. And to some people, it was hard for them to take. So when I talk about owning the good, the bad, and the ugly of you, it doesn't mean that you shy away from sharing your real self. So I'm unashamed that I used to be a client of Just for Success. I'm unashamed to talk about it because I've been a woman in transition. I remember coming out of the darkest chapter of my life and not knowing if I'd ever grace a stage again, if I'd ever have clients again, would I be sitting in a cubicle for the rest of my life, because I was afraid to try once again. And in trying once again, it brought me to a different place. I remember, right after Shark Tank, and wonderful experience. Let me just say, wonderful to walk in to Shark Tank with a canary yellow peplum dress, an afro, and extreme makeup. Why? I'm tailor-made for television. So I want to bring that drama, that passion, that intensity, and that fire. But I also had to back it up. Now, some people said, oh, well, you can go conservative. I could do that, but that's not my personality. And the sharks are going to know it from the moment I open my mouth. So when you're in different spaces, bring all of you. I understand that we can be on 10, 6.5. I get that. But when I'm invited in spaces, I want people to fully experience the depth and breadth of my character and how I show up. Because as the great Ty Goodwin says, when a woman steps into her purpose, another woman can step into hers. And as a trailblazer, there wasn't this role before me. I wanted to do it in business. I wasn't an entertainer. I wasn't in sports, and some people think that that's what Black people excel in, so that's all you have. Well, I wanted to show that I could speak my way to the top. So when I started being the killer pitchmaster again, I wanted to thank those who rode with me when I had nothing, when there was no money in my bank account. Let's talk about owning the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, yes, I can speak very well. The good is I care about others. The bad is I made a lot of mistakes when I lost the love of my life. And I didn't know how to handle it. And I didn't know how to go to my support network. I didn't know who my friends were. There were people who were only around when I was on television, or when I was being quoted in media, or when I was filming a movie. Those are the people you can go to. So I didn't know who to trust. And so I turned to the bottle. And thank God I'm 5 years plus clean and sober now. I'm 5 years past my suicide attempt when I was 38 years old. The ugly truth is, some things you're going to have to just move through. As trailblazers, the ugly truth is there is no path for you. You have to create it. And you have to be consistent and persistent, because we know that persistence, what beats resistance? And so when those big people didn't want to deal with me when I was trying to get my life together, I had to remember that there was a spirit deep within me that was ready to unleash. I don't want to be a square peg trying to get into a round hole. I want to bend things to my will now. And I think that when women see other women who boldly go into their purpose, whether you're introvert or extrovert, when they see a woman who shows up and shows out no matter what, who's unafraid to go to the table. There might be tables that you weren't invited to. I invite you to pull up a chair and make yourself known. And the greatest thing about owning the good and the bad and the ugly, is no one can throw your past in your face because you fully embraced it. So again, when we talk about authenticity, we're not just talking about the word, oh, it sounds good, yeah. But remember, when someone shows up authentically as they are, take notice. In a world that celebrates cookie cutter, in a world that separates sameness, in a world that celebrates, just trying to fit in. For my full-figure divas and my plus-size fashionistas, for the women who show up just a little bit different. Maybe it's their race, maybe it's being differently able, or being disabled or differently abled. However, show up and show out. One of the greatest things that you could ever do for yourself is let people see the real you. And I love the question that came up earlier about how do you show up authentically in inauthentic spaces? Well, the truth is, as an attorney, I knew that was a stepping stone to get me to where I am today. Today, I'm able to be a corporate trainer at LinkedIn, Google, Microsoft, Federal Reserve Bank, Intuit, QuickBooks, Yelp, big banks, small banks. I'm a keynote speaker, an international professional speaker. But not that long ago, I was homeless. Not that long ago, I was struggling. but by walking into spaces and letting people see the power of me, not my past. I can talk about my past later, but I want you to see the fullness of what I can bring to the table. So for the women who are watching, this is Rise and Thrive. When we're talking about rising and thriving, you got to keep that momentum going. You got to show up and show out. You also have to celebrate difference even within your family and within yourself. If you were meant to be cookie cutter, you would be, but you're not. So when we talk about finding those who resonate with you, that's great. But also bring different people in so you can get differences of opinion. So you can see, oh, well, maybe that's not the right sandbox I need to be in. Maybe this is not the right playground. Maybe there are other places I need to be. And because you have different people around you, they'll usher you in. When I started being the killer pitch master again, there were certain spaces I couldn't go to. But the most beautiful thing is being where I am today. And that when I show up and show out, whether I'm speaking before 10,000 at the Professional Photographers of America Summit that was in Washington, D.C. in January, they embraced me because I walked in boldly and differently. In fact, I even walked into Nicki Minaj's Moment for Life. And the reason why I walked in is because I love that song. There are four. I encourage y'all to have four theme songs. Have theme songs. Just please have theme songs. And I'm gonna share mine with you because I want y'all to feel where I'm coming from. When I know I'm about to do battle, when I know I need to remind myself of who I am, I often listen to hip hop because I have never met a rapper who didn't believe they were the greatest and don't have a song on the radio. Just put something on YouTube, it has maybe one view, but they still believe they're the greatest when they start off. And somehow along the way as women, we forgot, or we fit ourselves into a box, or maybe we went into corporate America, or maybe we had to do all these sort of things. And so when you see someone who shows up authentically, whoa, 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 and it reminds you, and it may stick in your craw, that you forgot how to do that yourself. So here are my four. Moment for Life by Nicki Minaj. And I love when she says, in this very moment, I'm king. In this very moment, I slay Goliath with the sling. And I think about all the things that I've ever been through and what my clients have been through and what I know women around the world have gone through. And I want you to look at every challenge, the good, the bad, and the ugly of it, and face it head on. Meet the challenge and exceed it. I want you to say who you are, so that the heavens above can hear you. I want you to tell your friends and your family what you're gonna do. Some people say don't. I say you do it. Because you know they're gonna keep you accountable. I thought you said, yeah, I'm gonna do it. No, I'm not even gonna talk about it anymore. I'm just gonna go ahead and handle my business. When I was growing up, they told me I'd never be anything. And yet, when I had a full scholarship to Spelman College, full scholarship to Georgetown University Law Center, full scholarship to Rutgers School of Law, which I graduated from in 2007. That's why I love that song. Number two, Bad, Michael Jackson. If you can't be bad on a New York City subway, Brooklyn, Hoyt Skirmahorn station, you can't be bad anywhere. And you have to remind yourself you're bad at what you do. You're the best that, there was a wrestler called Bret the Hitman Hart. This is from like WWF era. He says that I'm the best there is, the best I was, and the best I'll ever be. That's the mentality I wake up with. And every day I'm going out hard. So you got to remember, bad. Number three, diva, Beyonce. I know it's not really hip hop, but you got to remind yourself who you coming into the table, who people have to meet when they meet you. And finally, Eminem, Lose Yourself. I love, love, love when he says, I cannot grow old as Salem's Lot. So here I go, what's my shot? Feet fail me not. This may be the only opportunity that I got. I didn't say I was a rapper, y'all. But when your back is against the wall and the good and the bad and the ugly of it all, I want you to come out swinging. When they buried you and left you for dead, life circumstances, family, friends, when they left you for dead, I want you to pull yourself out and remember that you have a purpose. And when you have a purpose, you move towards that purpose. Is it going to be easy? No. Is it going to be difficult? Is it going to be easy? No. Is it going to be difficult? Yes. Is it going to take all of you? Yes. But imagine the generations who will learn about you and see everything you went through and the power it took to keep going. When I listen to Lose Yourself, especially the third stanza, I think about what he must have felt going into rap battles, looking like nobody else, sounding like nobody else. and yet he conquered. I think back to growing up. I think back to being a teenager. I think back to being in my 20s and my 30s, and thank God I'm in my 40s. I don't have the same need for validation. I don't have the need for people to love me. I have the need for respect, because the next generation needs to know they can show up and show out as they are. Raise your hands if you don't really like you at times. Raise your hands if you've ever wanted to give up. Welcome to the club of being human. Welcome to the club of being a woman. What I want you all to do is to take notice that in the good, the bad, and the ugly of everything, it's easy to say don't give up, and you're at rock bottom. But I pray that you hear these words from trailblazers. And that's what you're going to hear from all day, is women who are trailblazers, who didn't have the road paved before them, and they had to find a way or make one. Clark Atlanta's motto. I want you all to know, create your own path. It's not going to be easy. You're going to get cut up. You're going to be beat up and everything else. But you got to keep going. And I want you to do it authentically, boldly, loudly, colorfully. And even if you're an introvert, you can still bring that to the table. You can be the quiet storm and make all of them fall before you. But at the end of the day, remember, until you step into your purpose, until you remember why you were born, until you make the dash between your birthday and your death day matter, until you step into your purpose, another woman can't step into hers. Even though my mom didn't want me, even though my dad didn't want me, even though I was 15 years old when my grandparents stepped in to raise me, the most beautiful thing is, at least I got them. And when my grandmother used to wake me up and do affirmations, she wanted me to know that no matter what anybody said to me, my voice, my skill set, and my talents are going to open doors, even though they're shut. And I'm blessed to show other women how to give birth to their next beautiful now. You may be in corporate America. You may be underemployed. You may be having the time of your life. It will get better. But you got to remember your purpose. And as a killer pitch master, it wasn't until my back was against the wall and I had to pitch with negative $400 in my bank account that I got to see why I was really put on this earth. And I'm a proud full-figured diva. I'm a proud Black woman from the inner city of St. Louis, Missouri, who lives in beautiful Brooklyn, New York, who travels all around the world to teach and to train and to remind women of who they are. It's not just enough about rising. You got to keep that momentum going. Remember, persistence beats resistance, and then you thrive. And you help another woman and another woman and another woman who forgot who she was. So in the good and the bad and the ugly, own it all. Own it. And then walk in proudly, boldly, colorfully. Stand in your power, and that's what we do.
Thank you so much, Precious.
Thank you, Precious. You're making me cry again. Every time we talk. I love you so much. You really hit a nerve. And for so many of the women that we serve, this journey it's a fight every day. It's a fight getting up out of bed. It's a fight, going to work, putting your pants on and going through the motions and going through and fighting. And so to see you're now on the other side of it. It gives me hope. It gives the women we serve hope. I feel really very blessed.
Listen, there was a time I was afraid to tell my story. But if you talk from power instead of from the past, and then invite people on the journey as you go, then that's when they really respect you. And I encourage women that as you are, transitioning, start from the place of power, and then move forward and show your story as it's unfolding. And that's what's just made it. I mean, I was a client at Dress for Success. Yeah. I can't even believe that. And now I get to sit here and thank you all, because y'all don't know the countless women you have helped. They may not come back. They may be ashamed. I'm not. And there is life after failure. There is life after mistakes. There's life. We need to normalize mistakes. It happens. Forget what you see on social media when it's all about, oh, this great trip. This life still happens. And that's why even when I go through my grieving moments and my grieving time, my friend, I reach out to my network. I don't drink. I go to my network. I pray. And the most beautiful thing is, it has sustained me. No one throws my past in my face because I own it, the good, the bad, and the ugly of it all.
I love and you do it so well, which is not undervaluing the courage it takes to just show up every day.
Right.
And to show up in all kinds of spaces and places where sometimes you feel great and it's friends, and sometimes you are in an inauthentic place where you struggle and it doesn't fit right. Mm-hmm. I know we're going to open it up to questions, but since I'm here, I want to get first in line.
I mean, why not?
Well, while I was hearing you speak, and so please, it's open, bring the questions in. But the one thing I was thinking about what you were saying, Precious, is, and I had listened to somebody reflect on this, which is as women, our aspiration is always to get a seat at that table.
Right.
And I recently heard, and I forgot who the woman was, said, that aspiration actually shouldn't be your aspiration because that table was never meant for us. And so when you sit at that table, no matter what you did, you were not in an ecosystem that was conducive to where you're going. So this brings me to the question to you is, this person had encouraged us to build our own table, right? Mm-hmm. And as women to kind of seek out and build that table, whether it's personally or professionally. If you had a table you wanted to build, what table would it be?
I have always thought of myself as walking down this road, and this is going to answer your question. Walking down a road, and to the left of me and to the right of me, all these amazing women who forgot about how talented, how brilliant, how bright they were. And as I'm walking, we're all falling in Beyonce formation. And when I think about it, who I want at my table, it's not the celebrities. That's great. It's not the celebrities. That's great. Who it is are women who are in transition and need to be inspired or re-inspired to find what's been missing deep within. So, of course, I want my grandmother there. My grandmother, I'm named after her. Her name was Precious Dolores Williams. And if she hadn't seen the gift and talent and skill set in me, I wouldn't be here today. I'd probably be dead. And then I like to invite the queens who've been with me every step of the way in my journey. I like to invite the queens of Just for Success. I like to think of the queens that saw something in me when I didn't see it in myself. And I want all of us to have a seat at the table, because this is a table created for us. And to answer the other question that you didn't ask, I know women want to be at all tables. Every table ain't for us. Every table ain't for us, and that's okay. Every table ain't for us. But if one of us gets to that table, open the door for more to come, right? Because the more of us that are there, we're going to come with a different and a fresh perspective that can change things. So, I built the table for Perfect Pitches by Precious, and to come in being who you are and being confident, even when you feel like panties is cutting off my circulation, like they say in Golden Girls, right? Come in as you are. Yeah. You see that cheesecake cut off her circulation. I remember Blanche said that. I said, I understand. And I was a young girl understanding that. So come in as you are, because you're gonna find this is a safe space for you. But if you're invited to other tables or you pull up to another table, pull up as you are. As Brianna said, pull up.
One of the things that I love about you from day one when we met, one of the many, and I have a lot, Dress for Success for so many women has helped women at various stages in their journey. Maybe some, who've really hit rock bottom. Mm-hmm. Others who, just come for a little brush up and a touch up and then go on their way.
Right.
It's something different for everybody. But one of the things that I struggle with is that women aren't like you. A lot of women don't want anyone to know that the secret sauce is Dress for Success, that we've been there. And I don't know how to, as an organization, have people realize that it's a sisterhood. It's a queendom. What is it? Queen Latifah. Welcome to my queendom, right?
Welcome to the queendom.
So, like how do we let women know that it's an invitation for all women at all stages to come in and feel good about where you are in that stage? Like, why are you?
Well, because I was a student of the Bowery Mission Women's Center, where I was for 2 years in a life transformation program. Even when I came to Dress for Success, I was intimidated. Yes, I had a law degree, and yet I was homeless. I didn't know how people would treat me. And so, I went through the process. I got these beautiful clothes, got the first job I applied for, the second job I applied for, and that was it. Like, I couldn't even believe it because I've been working for myself. So after all these years, who would ever hire me? I had so much going in my brain. No one would hire me. I've been working for myself, and now I'm homeless. But the staff made me feel like I could do it. And so when I went in those interviews, I was like, remember who you are, and go in there and handle your business. And so when I came out and I got those 2 positions and I was doing really, really well, I kept hearing the little birdie on my shoulder say, you can't do what everybody else does, and paint this picture that it was always perfect. Because for some people who are in transition, whether they just lost a job in the pandemic and never saw themselves there, or they're living paycheck to paycheck, or they fell from the highest of heights, they need to know that there's someone there who went through it too and made it. And for the donors, they also need to see that, they need to see someone like me too, right? They need to see someone who's confident, who is unafraid, because when I'm unafraid, it makes other women unafraid. To tell the truth, I struggled, I did this and I did that. But I had to let go of the facade of life and to tell the truth. And that's why I'm standing before y'all today. I mean, I know I look cute, I know I look good. My hairstyle is always different.
I noticed that.
Always different. She's like, I never know who I'm speaking to. I never know who I'm speaking to. But at the end of the day, thank you for Dress for Success, because I encourage you all to just bring in, more people like me who are unafraid, and to show women it is possible to achieve your dreams after failure, after mistakes, after loss, after grief. It is possible when you get the right people around you. And that's why Dress for Success matters to me, and I'm never going to stop talking about Dress for Success.
Thank you. We got, I'm looking at my phone because we're getting screenshots from the back. This is more of a wonderful statement than a question. Love it. The person says, sometimes the pain, the hardship in your journey is, sometimes the pain, oh, sorry, I hit my mic. The pain, so they're telling me in the back that I've fussing too much.
We're not professionals.
I know. So anyway, the pain, the hardship in your journey is to help inspire others. I'm a survivor in many areas, cancer, emotional, psychological abuse, but I have and still persevere. We might never meet, but we are part of the same tribe. God bless you. I am thriving, and I've risen like a phoenix out of the ashes.
Yeah.
I now will step into my purpose. You have empowered us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry for butchering the reading. But
It's okay.
but wow, that was amazing.
Yeah.
We do have more questions.
Yes.
Precious, do you have time for us?
Today I got time.
All right, we're keeping you here.
Today I got time.
So, what are your daily habits for success? What is your secret? Like, how do you? What do you do?
Okay, so when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is thank my Creator for another day on this earth. Because as I said, I tried to take my life on my 38th birthday. On my 38th birthday, so I'm 43 and a little older now. I'm thankful. Then I, get up, I, journal. I have the Savor Beauty Journal, and I have 9 affirmations that I read, like from all roads are open. Everything I touch turns to gold. Everything flows to me. Opportunities flow to me. Money flows to me easily and effortlessly. Protect my mind and guard my heart. So those are some of the affirmations. I read a biblical chapter and a verse. I also ask my Creator, who do I need to touch today? And when those names come to me, I make sure before I truly start my day to reach out via text message, via video, or via phone call. Let them know that they're on my mind. Then as I'm getting my day started, because the day before I've already written out the top 6 things I have to do, I look at those 6 things that I have to get done today in the order that I have, and I get to get into work. So I may go into the office, I may go into my other office, I may be on a train on Amtrak going somewhere, I may be on a plane, but just preparing myself for whatever I have to do that day. Again, checking in with whoever the Creator tells me that I need to check in with, and also letting them know that I'm well or that I need something. I do a lot of business development, reaching out to clients, prospects, and things like that. And then towards, your girl gonna eat, your curvy girl gonna eat. She gonna eat, okay. And then as I end my day, I end it with a gratitude journal. And I'm so thankful for all that I have. In fact, to be honest with you, this past week has been difficult for me. I'm remembering the love of my life. And a friend came in from out of town and started asking me these love questions, and it kind of opened up that wound again. And so for 2 days, I was getting work done, but I was quiet. And I told my friends, I texted them, hey, I'm going through this. And they called, texted, sent video messages to me that they love me. Keep going. And when I'm ready to talk, they right there. And so that's why it's important to be interested in other people. Because when you have moments like that, it doesn't mean that my business stops. It doesn't. It just means that I need a little bit more love and support today so that I can offer that to others. Because when I was down and out and in transition, I did not know that that's what I needed most. I didn't need likes and comments. I needed people who really cared. That's why Just for Success, we rise and thrive.
Right. I don't know if you know this, but Precious texts me in the morning. First thing I wake up and I get a good morning, Queen. How are you? And I can't tell you how much that means to me to know that I'm getting love.
Yes.
First thing in the morning before I start my day. And I want to thank you for taking the time to do that for me.
Right, because if you're not feeling well, I'm going to keep it in mind, keep it up, okay, every few days I'm going to check on her and see if she's okay. Because if you don't do that, then we have a transactional relationship.
Yep.
And before I went through my journey, I was transactional. So people thought I was a robot. If it didn't make dollars, it didn't make sense. Well, like NBA Youngboy, I don't want to be broke again, whether that's money, relationships, time, resources, and things like that. If you focus on relationships, you won't be broke.
Right.
If you focus on improving them and making sure people know that you care, everything else will stretch before you.
Right.
So we have a great question that just was sent to me. What was the defining moment in your life where you discovered your purpose? That's a good question.
Yeah.
I was speaking at Viacom. And I was there for Smart and Sexy Day. And I was so geeked because I had just walked out of homelessness on September 1st, 2018. And I'm going ham and cheese. I'm just speaking to the executives. I'm training on pitching. I'm training women in transition on pitching. And I heard that little birdie on my shoulder say, give it to them raw. And so I'd already finished my presentation, and then that's when I looked at everybody and I said, especially to the program manager who brought me in, I said, when you booked me, we were at the Tory Burch Embrace Ambition Summit. I don't even know how I got a ticket, but I did. First one. I introduced myself as a killer pitch master, and you rocked with me. You said, oh, we want to book you. What you didn't know is that I was homeless at that time. I was a student at the Bowery Mission Women's Center. If I had told you I was homeless and looking for an opportunity to speak, they're there. But I told you I was a killer pitch master and I slay all competition. I gave you a little pitch on the spot. And you heard me, but you saw power, raw power, and intensity and passion and energy. And because you did that, I want to show to everybody else, this is what happens when you lead with power and not the past as a chain. And now that's why I'm more comfortable telling the truth that I was homeless. I went through a lot of bad things, grief, abandonment, torture, abuse. But in that moment, I wanted you to see that despite all of that, I'm still Precious Williams. I am still fire. I'm still the phoenix rising. And because you took a chance on me, I'm taking a chance by telling you the truth about how it happened. And then women in the room would, oh my goodness, I never would have known. I'm like, and you weren't supposed to until I was ready to tell you. And so to my queens, that's why I think you have to show the depth and breadth of you before you show the dark past, because I don't want to be patronized. There, you'll get there. I don't want people to make up stories about me. I want you to see me as powerful. I want you to see me as competent. I want you to see me as talented. I want you to see me as very, very skilled. And in that moment, I realized that I was doing something that most people don't. Whether they're motivational speakers or anything, I was telling the truth of the journey. And that it wasn't pretty. And it wasn't wonderful. It is not taking pictures with celebrities. It's not, no. I had to believe in myself when everybody said it was over. I had to climb out of the grave that people put me in. I had to climb out of severe alcoholism and all of that. And in that moment, it all made sense.
Yeah.
Precious, we could talk with you all day, but I know if I keep it up, I'm going to cry some more because that's just what I do. But I know we're going to get ready to go into lunch. I want to thank you for being here with me again, for being my friend. I'm blessed to know you, and I'm going to keep in touch and see you soon. And just thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.